Yo, yo, yo. What's up, my peoples? It's Friday, baby. It's Friday. We got a lot to talk about already as Dragon's Dogma is quite the controversy right now. And I can't help but just feel really disheartened about it. You know, I'll hold off for a second before we get into that conversation, but just know we're gonna try Dragon's Dogma 2 today, and the performance is not very good, I think, across all platforms, and apparently for a single player title, it's also riddled with microtransactions. And I think that as much as this sucks for myself and a lot of other gaming enthusiasts, I have kind of seen this coming from Capcom as well. I didn't want to see it happen to this game. Game of the year. Yeah, what up, Pinky? Yeah, and shout out to Pinky. Pinky kind of was hitting me up this morning before I had a chance to really start hopping on and seeing stuff, and was giving me a precursor to a lot of what was going on here. So thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. We have video gaming news coming up. That's what we're going to dive into first, as we always do, man. So we got video gaming news starting here in a moment. We'll do that for today, March 22nd, and then we'll see what's up with Dragon's Dogma 2. I think that we're obviously going to be finding some articles this morning regarding this situation, but I'm just going to go ahead and say that, as probably, one of the AAA companies that I had been pointing towards as being a still somewhat respectable AAA developer in the industry about a year and a half ago, I had seen them sliding. Whether it be from things like Exoprimal, which was an obvious play at trying to just skamaz money out of people, to things like their CEO talking about how they want to continue to try and raise prices on people, to their DRM process that they had been pushing upon people to try and remove the ability for people to mod their games. It's all been a culmination of a bad look for Capcom. And, it's an unfortunate thing, as Capcom is a long-standing juggernaut in this industry that has produced amazing titles throughout the years. They have great franchises under their thumb, and it's a horrible look at what we have facing us in the future of Capcom titles. If they're going to take a game like Dragon's Dogma 2, and not only is it apparently severely unoptimized right now, but they're also taking a single player game. Does it have an online component to it? Yes, but it's not multiplayer. It's just a single player game with an online type of component with the pawn system. That's it. And they've incorporated mechanics into this game to make sure that they could monetize it with microtransactions. That is disgusting, and it is a key identifier of a developer, and we've seen this happen time and time again. It's a developer that has they've become too polluted with business-minded people that have forgotten, or they have forgotten what it means to create quality products. Fast travel point as so buying new followers microtransactions? What? Revivals microtransactions? No way, dude. Really? I knew that so we had read something in the news a while back regarding the fact that they didn't want people fast traveling all the time. They felt like it was something that they wanted people to work for, and like in-game currency was what we were being told you would have to use, but it would be expensive, Screenshot? I haven't even seen it yet, dude. Sorry. Let me see this. Oh, you're talking about all the microtransaction stuff. Well, this is what I'm wondering, too. Yeah. I saw all the microtransaction stuff. We're going to take a look at it. So, yeah. So here's what I'm wondering. And one of the things I've already noticed that people have been talking about is they've made it to where, like, for instance, camping supplies, right? So if you're out about in the world, so apparently civilizations are going to be kind of sparse. And camping supplies are very, very, very heavy. So that's what I'm saying. They've made this game in a way which basically entices people to use microtransactions as a quality of life feature, which sucks and is disgusting and makes me not want to support this game. Right. Pay for convenience. Exactly. Pay for convenience. And how gross is that? Like, what the crap, dude? So what I'm wondering is, like, is it a necessary? Is it going to feel necessary to pay for the convenience? That's what I'm wondering. Or is it going to be okay for people that aren't willing to pay for that convenience? That's what I'm wondering. And I think that's what we need to dive into this morning. Is this going to be something that they've managed to balance out in a way where, you know, if people want an easier time in the game and are willing to pay for it, not that I think excuses them for what they're doing. It's still gross, in my opinion. This type of game does not need microtransactions. It's disgusting. They're making people pay $70 for a AAA single player title, and they're putting microtransactions in it. That is not acceptable, you know. But I'm going to be more accepting of this fact if they've still developed the game in a way where people are able to work their way through it without needing the convenience. If you're able to work your way through it without the convenience, okay, whatever. If they're making it to where people can buy their way through the game to have an easier time or whatever, I'm not going to be as worried about it myself. But it's also one of those things where I play harder games, so I'm going to be a bit okay with that, where other people that don't play harder games are probably going to be more pissed off than I would be. You know what I mean? I still am not okay with the microtransaction. It's gross all the way around. I'm just kind of speaking in my own kind of, that's what I'm looking at here, according to whether or not I will actually probably play through this game. The fact of the matter is, it's so terrible to see what they've done to this next iteration of a series of games that so many people loved, and they didn't need to do this. They were going to make so much money off of this game anyways if it was just good. If this game was just good, they would have been fine. If it performed well, the content was good, they would have made a lot of money off this game. They didn't need to do what they did. But here we are, right? So we've got plenty. I know we're gonna be like talking nonstop about this. So let's go ahead. Let's dive into video gaming news, man, and see what all we have. There's gonna be a lot of Dragon's Dogma 2 stuff. So we're gonna hash this out. I'm it feels really bad, dude. God. I mean, we just continue to get railroaded by these companies. You know what I mean? It feels terrible. So let's dive in here. Let's see what we got. Let's go. Yo, it's going to be a ranty morning. You know what I mean? Jesus. Oh, God. And let me speak about something to begin with, too, that Pinky and I were already talking about this morning, okay? I'm done using Metacritic. I am finished using Metacritic. And I'm going to show you why. Yesterday, the day before all these March 22nd games came out, I brought up Metacritic for 3 of the big titles releasing today. And because we always know that critic reviews are coming out the day before. This is something that I've noticed has been happening more and more and more on this site with these critics, okay? Metacritic for their games is getting really gross. So this is one that we brought up yesterday. Princess Peach is another one. And then obviously Dragon's Dogma 2, right? And I'm going to tell you, okay, feels good. I'm done because I've seen this happening more and more and more. What's up, Davey? How you doing, buddy? Happy Friday, bruh. I can't help but start with this. We're gonna discuss this in depth as we move forward. But I'm going to have a segment of the news segment this morning where I am going to basically explain to everybody why I will not use Metacritic anymore. I'm done with it. I've been becoming more and more aware of these issues with Metacritic as we've been moving forward that are concerning to me. And what I'm talking about is when you look at these games and the way they're being rated critically, it's not always being indicative of what your experience is going to be. Look at this. On all platforms for Dragon's Dogma 2, we're talking about close to 100 reviews at this point, and all of these reviews are rated somewhere between, and consensus on all platforms, Xbox, PC, PS5, consensus reviewed between an 85 and a 90. That's our baseline, right? That should tell you that this is a very good experience for people to check out. What's actually happening is this game is performing like balls. It is not performing very well for most people. It's not optimized, and nobody. So here's the thing. These critics have been bought. The critics that are rating these games, and I've been worried about this for a long time, have been bought. In large part. I don't think all of them, but I'm sorry, man. Like this one says, despite technical issues, you have to notice the quality of Dragon's Dogma 2. How can you notice the quality of a game if the performance is so terribly bad? Okay? Apparently, the performance of this game is not very good. And we don't have the experience yet. We're going to play it later on and see how bad it is. I've got all this kind of stuff, but I'm going to talk about this today. I'm tired of this. How can you rate a game without talking about also the performance of the game? You can't do that. You cannot, in good conscience, I'm sorry, as a critic that people are relying on as a gaming community, you cannot be putting out a review like this and trying, basically telling people, yeah, this is a great game, whenever most people aren't even going to be able to experience how good the content is because the performance is so bad. You can't leave that out. You can't do that. That's terrible. So I'm going to be looking at different places for reviews. Steam is my favorite place because it's players reviewing the game. You get a better idea of what to experience, what you're going to experience from a game from Steam. Unfortunately, we don't ever get those reviews until the day of, right? But I am about done with Metacritic. It's driving me crazy, and we'll talk about that as we move forward too. Dragon's Dogma 2, mostly negative on Steam as microtransactions emerge. I just cannot believe that they've done this. I mean, I can and I can't. I've seen it coming from Capcom. It's so terrible, dude. It feels so bad. And if you want, I mean, I'll just go ahead and bring it up right now. This is where we're at with Dragon's Dogma 2 right now with reviews. It's up to mixed, but we're talking 40%. That's a 4 out of 10. People have over 8,500 reviews right now. That is bad. That is bad. I've looked at some of the reviews already. Maybe Metacritic using AI to review the games. Dude, who knows? Who knows? But it's not a good thing, that's for sure. It's not a good thing when they're not giving people the true feedback they need to understand what to experience from a game. You know, that's what the review process is supposed to be. You should have a good idea, performance and content-wise, of what to experience, right? And if they're not giving you that, why are they critiquing games? Why? it totally voids the point of it, you know. I'm really disappointed right now. This feels terrible. We're gonna play it. We're gonna see how it feels. I'm already pretty sure that I'm gonna be really upset at what this is, and but we'll take a look at it. It's unfortunate. We've already heard about Rise of the Ronin. We talked about that yesterday. Just based on even some lengthy reviews we saw outside of even Metacritic, it was like nothing standing out about that game necessarily. It's not necessarily bad. It's just not fantastic either. Probably somewhere around a mid 70s score is something that you'll experience. So it's you know, an okay experience. You'll probably have a decent time in there, potentially. You know, give me 1 second. Sorry, let's keep going. We watched this yesterday, the trailer for Rise of Hydra, Marvel 1943. I did not get this set up for the past 24 hours. Let's do that. How about that? Brother, I'm clicking. There we go. Let's see what this is. Okay. Yeah. My bad. Did I see that right? Future game show. I haven't caught anything about this in the news here recently. And it happened yesterday. Okay. So could have watched it yesterday had I known it was happening. But we could rehash it today potentially. I'm gonna leave this up. We'll oh, it would have been late last night, huh? No. Yeah, it was yesterday afternoon. What up, Ferret? Yesterday afternoon, it would have been like 3. I probably wouldn't have been able to watch it anyways. We'll see what let's go with I'll leave that up. Future game show summary. I didn't even know what was happening yesterday. Let's take a look at this. Do they have the we'll leave both those up. We'll take a look at both of those. What's up, buddy? How you doing, man? I don't know if I would have been able to stream late yesterday. 90 minutes would have been pushing it for me, starting at 3. So Unicorn Overlord hints of Fire Emblem in new game from Vanillaware. I've got to say, for another game that I was really excited about, I don't understand what they were thinking about in this game, because they tell you basically the outcome of every single battle before you even engage in battle. Why? What's the point in playing a battle-themed RPG if they're just going to tell you the outcome of every battle before it even plays out? Doesn't that just... I mean, it's like spoiling every single battle you're going to engage in. How weird is that? Which was really disappointing for me. I played like 2 days of this, and I just lost all interest in it because of that. AI, blame the AI, I guess, dude. I don't know. This was supposed to be a spiritual successor to a game I fell in love with on Super Nintendo called Ogre Battle. And there was Ogre Battle 64 and for Nintendo 64, stuff like that. And why they incorporated that mechanic in this game, I have no idea. Other than that, the game was really fun, but it just took all the fun out of the game for me. I had no clue why they did that. It felt so stupid. I just got to the point where I was like, well, what's the point in playing the game if you know everything that's going to happen before it happens? It feels real dumb. Looks like you can play the first hour of As Dusk Falls for free as like a trial thing for PS Plus Premium if you're interested. Looks like Amazon's having some spring sale video game deals, so we'll take a quick peek at that. Oh, boo. All right, brother. How's your head been, dude? Yeah, this Dragon's Dogma stuff is so bad. Yo, a new the Stardew Valley 1.6 Easter egg lets players wield one of Terraria's most powerful weapons. Ferret, here you go, dude. Oh, that sucks, dude. Feels bad. Boo. Here, this will be right up your alley, dude. Here. There you go, buddy. That'll be for you. I'll shoot it to you in a message on Discord too. That way you have it, in case you're not able to look at most of it right now. I know you're starting training. You got an air fryer? Sick, dude. It sucks. They're shutting down though. That's terrible, bro. How much does that suck? God. Ah, bro. The top online game review sites of 2024. This looks like Gamba, though. The reason this is interesting to me is because I'm done with Metacritic. I'm finished with Metacritic. It's over for me. I'm not using Metacritic anymore. The problem is, I feel like most of the people that are able to critique games in the industry are going to they're posting their reviews on multiple sites, and it's going to be hard to get away from it. So I don't know what to do. But I'm so over the critiquing, like the professional, quote unquote professional critiques, professional reviews, where they're not giving you the whole picture. I'm over it. It feels so dumb. I don't understand how, you can get a Dragon's Dogma 2 score on PC of 90 when then you go look at Steam where most people are playing the game at, and it's a 4 out of 10. It's a 40. Because the game is so bad. What does that tell you? I mean, it immediately to me seems like there's a bunch of critics in the industry that are paid off. Doesn't it? Yeah, here's another one. Dragon's Dogma 2 players high hopes dash with game's release, dude. Oh, it's so disappointing. Girls like gaming too. Weird. Almost like they're people like everybody else is. I've talked about this too much. Why wouldn't they like gaming? What a stupid notion that because somebody is of a different gender or a different, you know, I don't know, race or, you know, like that they wouldn't like video games as much as the next person. Like, what? How stupid. You know, it's so dumb. Girls don't exist online. Unfortunately, they've felt like for a long time they've had to hide the fact that they're women online because they've received so much misogynistic frat culture bull crap from people. You know, it's so stupid. All cross-dressing, obviously. If you guys can't tell, dude, I'm flipping jacked this morning. I am pissed off, dude. Hey, this is what I'll tell you. Oh, well, apparently Dragon's Dogma 2 is trash performance-wise. It is also a single-player game at a AAA price tag that they've incorporated mechanic-wise in the game certain types of mechanics to make people feel like so they've incorporated microtransactions in a single-player game to make people feel like they need to buy microtransactions as a more kind of comfortable quality of life thing. Yeah, Pinky started me off on the right foot, and then I started looking into stuff which made it even worse, which I appreciate knowing ahead of time. I really do. And, you know, the other thing that goes along with this, which I was talking to Pinky about this morning before I even started streaming, was, you know, why are we dealing with this much? This game is bad right now, apparently. Could it get better? Maybe, but out the gate, it's terrible, right? It's terrible. And the reviews we looked up yesterday, the day before release, because today is release day, this game was being rated by like 35 to 40 critics as a 90, dude. And none of them were talking about performance issues? Why? The only thing I can figure is that they were bought by Capcom, dude. They were trying to bait people into buying the game, pre-ordering the game, and didn't want to tell people about the performance issues. It sucks. It's bad. Well, and this is the thing though, Ferret, and that's what I was talking about earlier. So, okay. Here's the thing. Microtransactions, I can agree with you to an extent, okay? To an extent. It's almost become something that we have to live with nowadays. Well, and that's what I was talking about earlier too. And we're going to get into this whole flipping mess. When you know, a year and a half ago, I was still touting Capcom as one of the better AAA developers in the industry. But as we've moved through that time up to the present, we've had to deal with things like Exoprimal, which was pretty bad. It was a game that cost. It wasn't AAA price tag, but it was expensive, and it should have been free to play because it was just a reach for people's money, heavily monetized, all kinds of battle pass, microtransactions, stuff like that. It was gross. Then you talk about the CEO of Capcom talking about how they need to keep raising prices even further than they already have. And then through the DRM stuff, which we've talked heavily about, you know, because they don't want people modding their games anymore. You know, they keep getting worse and worse and worse. So it's right. Yeah. So this is the thing. What Pinky's saying is exactly what's going on. So it's not like what they did is they created they created situations in the game on purpose to make people feel like they need these microtransactions to get through game situations. Right? That's what they did. Because the game was fine without them in the first place. But if you look at what the microtransactions are, they've rebuilt the game functionally in a way to make people feel like they need these microtransactions as a like better quality of life option, which is disgusting. And I don't know how heavy that is yet because I haven't played the game yet. But just off of what I've read and seen so far this morning, it feels pretty gross. So it's not like just an optional thing, apparently, where it's like, oh, there's some microtransactions for like cosmetics or anything like that. That's not what it is. It's not what it is. Capcom has turned into one of them, Soup. Yep, they have. I've seen it coming for a while, too. And it's just unfortunate that it's happened with this game. It sucks. But you're right. Capcom has turned into one of them. To edit your character costs money. I mean, it's crazy, dude. Like, apparently what they've done here. It's really, really, really nasty. And what I was wondering was like, are you going to be able to grind any in-game currency to do this? Or is it just all, no, it's just all micro. That's what we need to find out. But this is not a situation. Yeah, I've already got a lot of stuff up. Thanks. Yeah. I've already got a lot of stuff up, buddy. Yeah. Here's a look at the microtransactions, though. Yeah, this is nice. This is a good layout. I was going to bring up the one that Pinky had sent me, but this is pretty good here. Nice little Twitter. Yeah. Yeah, this is insane. Look at this. So you can fast travel, bringing people back to life, like your pawns and stuff. Edit your characters. Oh, okay, Pinky. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I know, Soup. I've already talked about that too. Yeah, it's gross, dude. It's really gross. So it's not like Ferret, like what you were probably assuming the microtransactions would be in this, which would be like optional things that didn't affect gameplay. They've literally developed this game in a way to make it to where you need to buy things with real money after paying full AAA price tag for this game. At least that's the way it looks without having touched the game yet. That's a whole different story. It's a whole different story. Thanks, Soup. What's up, buddy? So not only is the performance bad, Exactly, dude. Exactly. That's why there's so much. Because I mean, look, to an extent, you know, a lot of us have just become understanding of the fact microtransactions are a part of most games. But in large part, it's like we're okay with it as long as it's not a necessity, right? As long as it's an optional thing, especially if you're already paying a large amount of money for the game itself, right? You know. And this is bad. This is bad. This is some of the most disgusting stuff I've seen in the industry yet. It's very, 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 very bad. Oh, dude, yeah, absolutely, absolutely, it is. Yep. Which is why, I mean, here's the thing. I'm gonna boot the game up today. And I'm gonna track performance of it, and we're gonna see how it does. The thing is, I bought this through Fanatical too. I didn't buy it through Steam. I bought it through Fanatical. But Fanatical says that if you have significant performance issues, if the game's not performing correctly or whatever, then you can still get a refund. So I'm going to track performance. I've got Afterburner up. I've got Rivia Tuner up. We're going to be watching everything. If it's super stuttery, all that stuff, I'm probably just going to put in for a refund. I don't want to support this. If you're not able to grind in-game currency, if they make it feel like it's literally that's the only way to get things done in the game is through microtransactions, I'm not supporting this game, dude. There's no way. People planning to kill unnecessary NPCs to better frame it. Yeah, isn't that insane? How poorly optimized is that? It's just so bad, dude. All right, we've got so much to talk about. I keep getting into my rants, dude, because I'm so upset about this. But look, I've talked about this too. Hasbro is teasing its next big Dungeons and Dragons game and what it learned from Baldur's Gate 3 success. I'll tell you exactly what Hasbro learned from Baldur's Gate 3 success. Hasbro learned that, and I'll tell you what I'm more interested to learn about Hasbro and what they learned about Dungeons and Dragons here recently. But I'll tell you exactly what Hasbro has learned about Baldur's Gate 3 success is that they've got a very lucrative license that they will not easily let go of, if ever. And it is going to, they will care nothing about the quality of products that come out of that license. It's just going to be about how much money they can make off of it. That is who Hasbro is. And yeah, no worries, buddy. Their what is it? Their open gaming license or whatever for Dungeons and Dragons as a universe or a world or whatever. I'm more interested to know what they've learned from the fallout over what they tried to do with schemazzing everybody over the changes that they tried to implement on their OGL. Their new OGL they tried to push out, which they got so much blowback over that they had to basically take it all down and go, yeah, we won't do this now. But nobody's talking about that anymore, right? Everybody's just talking about, well, Hasbro's done great by giving Larian, the ability to make this game. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's what I'm saying. I don't know for a fact. I mean, do we know factually there is no fast travel at all unless you pay real world money for it? Or is it grindable currency in game that you can use? I don't know. That's what I'm going to be trying to find out this morning as we work our way through all these Dragon's Dogma 2 issues. Resident Evil creator Shinji Mikami has established a new company. Well, it'll be good that they're not with Capcom anymore. That's good. Unless they're a subsidiary, which that would suck. That's my whole thing right now, Soup. That's what I'm interested to find out are all of these things completely paywalled? Or are they just making it easier for people to access those items by being able to pay for them with real world money if you want, but you can still get them in game as well. I don't know. That's what I need to find out right now. If all of that is legit just paywalled, there's no in-way game to get them, I'm going to refund as soon as possible. There's no flipping way. It's actually insane. One of the weirdest games this year will launch in May. This game looks really wild. We might play this during Scaretober, actually. Yeah. Stellar Blade. Yeah, I know, brother. I know you're psyched. What are we like? A little under a month away now. What's the release date for it? April what? Yeah. Yeah, Ferret. I'm gonna be a little. I'm still gonna be pissed off about it. There's no because there's no doubt they changed the game mechanic wise to make things harder on people to get through the game and make people feel like they need to spend real world money for those items. There's no doubt about it, which sucks. And I'm still going to be pissed about it. But as long as you're able to grind them in game, I'll still probably play through it. Otherwise, I'll probably just refund it. Yeah. And I've talked about the Capcom change for a while. Look, I mean, we've got stuff up on the YouTube page, right? So we'll get into this in a bit. But, I mean, man, I've been talking about the Capcom issues for quite some time. I've seen this happening for a minute, dude. Whether it be the disgusting quotes from their CEO, you know, on this, or it be they're crushing their fan base with the removal of you know, being able to mod their games right here, or it be this kind of stuff, you know. Here's another one about this came up again about their raising their game prices and stuff. I've seen this happening for a while, and I've been hyper kind of aware that Capcom has been trending in a bad direction. There's also the Exo Primal stuff, you know, that I had a what? We've talked about Exo Primal. I've got a video about that somewhere. I can't find it right now, but you know, I've been watching Capcom fall further and further from grace, if you will. That's what I'm wondering. I don't know. Is it all pay? Is it total paywall? Is there no other way to get this stuff than to pay real world money, or is it grindable? That's what I need to know, and that's what we're gonna find out. Yeah, I've looked at the DLCs offered. I have. Yeah, what a coincidence there, right, Pinky? Yeah, that's what I kind of figured. So I that's what I kind of thought. So the it's this guy, right? The camping kit. This Explorer's camping kit is and I've already read some stuff about it. As we get into the articles, we'll talk more about this, okay? This is the one that I was aware of was going to be something you wouldn't necessarily, I didn't think you'd be able to get in-game, as the regular camping kits are very, very, very heavy. But this one is very light. And so it makes it much more manageable to carry this with you, right? I knew about that. I've read about that already this morning. But we'll see what other articles we can find, and we'll dive in here, and we'll deep dive into all the Dragon's Dogma 2 stuff here in a moment, okay? Well, once we get into these articles, we'll deep dive. I keep getting sidetracked on it, so let's try to stay focused here. Epic set to take 12% cut of all Epic Game Store sales when it launches on iPhone. How to upgrade weapons in Dragon's Dogma 2? Apparently pay $60 a pop. Jesus Christ. Rise of the Ronin looking tasty? No, not really. It looks very mediocre to me, content-wise. So, no. Honest to God, like, I think if I'm not going to be playing Dragon's Dogma 2 right now, what I would probably do is try to see if we can't figure out sometime very soon to start playing Sons of the Forest. Then, next month, we'll have No Rest for the Wicked, and then after that, we will have a Ghost of Tsushima. PS4 owners revealing extreme garbage. Kingdoms of Amalur, isn't that what it's called? Re-Reckoning. This was supposed to be an okay game. Not. It comes up every once in a while. It won't be anymore. After 14 years in the making, Harold Halibut finally launches next month. This is actually going to be something I think that goes along with the future game show stuff. So I'm going to put it back here. Trust in Activision? Jesus Christ. Dude, Pink, I mean, that's where we're headed, right? You talk about like paywalling New Game Plus and the things that like Dragon's Dogma 2's doing. Bro, there's going to be like field of view sliders are going to be behind a paywall. It's just everything, dog. It's going to be, oh, you want a higher resolution than like 720p? Yo, it'll be like $2 for fully high def. It'll be like $4 for 1440p. You know, it'll be like $10 for 4K. It'd be like $20 for 8K. You know, this is where we're headed, dog. It's insane. It's so stupid. It's really dumb, dude. Yeah, we talked about that. I pulled that up yesterday a little bit. Yeah, the Dragon's Dogma 2 frame rate issues acknowledged by Capcom. Yeah, we talked about that a little bit yesterday. I appreciate that link, but we touched on that. Was this one actually? Let me see this. Yeah, it's cool. We'll put this up in our Dragon's Dogma 2 stuff. That's good. Yeah, thanks, buddy. We did talk about it a little bit yesterday because we had a precursor there to understanding there were some performance issues. By the way, dude, I've got the latest NVIDIA driver in. I've made sure that my PC is totally up to date. We're totally ready to rock. So any performance issues on this game cannot be pressed upon maybe outdated drivers or anything like that. And am I running the most modern rig in the world? No. But my rig is not like a potato rig or anything either. And it's above the requirements for the game. We'll talk about that as well when we talk about the game here. And we'll get kind of a taste, because I will play the game. We'll try different video settings. We'll see what the different frame rates are. I'm going to be running Afterburner with Rivia Tuner. So I'll have an overlay up that'll show everybody the kinds of frame rates I'm getting, the amount of usage on my CPU and GPU, all that stuff, man. PS Plus Extra is losing 11 games in April. See what those are that are going away. Baldur's Gate 3 DLC scrapped by Larian. Interesting. Yeah, so we got new Epic Games, by the way, free games. The Call of the Wild, The Angler, and Invincible Presents Adam Eve. These are both free right now, and then Islets will be free next week. So you got about a week to grab these, and then next week will be Islets, okay? Get your free content. Do we need PS5 Pro? Obviously not. Whoa, whoa! Yeah, you would, dude. Dragon's Dogma 2 versus Rise of the Ronin. Which should you buy? Neither right now, okay? There are plenty of better games out there that are released previously to go play if you haven't played them yet. I don't think anybody should be buying either of these right now from the way it sounds. Assassin's Creed Jade reportedly delayed to 2025. Okay. Once that's official, we'll dive into it. But that's speculatory right there. It's speculation. Yeah, from like 2036 to 2037. Yeah, GTA 6 is really going to be popping off. Yeah. Helldivers 2, way better than what you rate it just because you think it's too hard. You know, I did look into the Nothing phone last night. Who was that? Metal that was telling me about that yesterday? What did Apple do? What hasn't Apple done to scam customers, you know? Let's be fair. US sues Apple, huh? Yeah. Smartphone monopoly. Cloud gaming is a key example. You can look into that. I'm not gonna dive into that one. We got enough up. That's not totally just. I mean, this is more on the tech side of things than it is just gaming side of things. So I'm not gonna dive into that. I'll link it to you though. Here, buddy. There you go, man. What is play to earn gaming? It's something that should not be part of this industry. That's what it is. And everybody should stay away from it. In my opinion. It sets a very, very bad precedent for what gaming should be. It makes video games, it turns video games into a job, which is not what video games are supposed to be about. We talked about that yesterday. That's kind of wild. You're so selfish. Shut up, man. Capcom so selfish. Capcom selfish. Capcom so selfish. Resident Evil 4 Remake, were they? What do they do with Resident Evil 4 Remake? I don't know if I remember or know. Treasure map, find every treasure. Lots of unlockables. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, dude, I saw the thing that really, you know, was a big indicator for me about where Capcom was headed was Exoprimal. I played Exoprimal. I played it on subscription service though. That game was like $50, and it was a game that should have been free to play. It was just a huge cash grab. The gameplay was mediocre. It was very repetitive. It was weird. There was just tons of microtransactions, battle passes, stuff like that. And I was like, this is where Capcom's headed. This is where Capcom's headed. You know, this is a company that is no longer run by gaming enthusiasts. It's run by business-minded individuals. That's it. It's gross. This is where we're going to stop. We've got a lot of articles. We'll go one more page, actually. Some of these are going to be quick, so let's go one more page. Oh, interesting, dude. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's kind of gross. Yeah, that's actually kind of gross. Yeah, I didn't know that. Shame on Capcom, dude. God dang it. We've got that up. Oh, Jesus. I mean, look, dude, here we go. This is one of those things, you know, we talk a lot about large gaming developers losing their way. Here, Square, dude, I think people need to be worried about Square. Much in the same way, which I've talked about Capcom for a long time, was still producing decent content. You could usually rely on their content to be good, their releases to be pretty good, and look where we are. Dude, this is the same way I was talking about what you're saying right there in chat, Soup. What you're saying in chat was the same thing I was saying about Capcom about a year and a half ago. But the indicators that I have seen with Capcom is a lot of the same stuff that I have seen with Square Enix. They are losing their way. I hate to see it, dude, but the truth hurts. And it is. It's what's happening with Square as well, buddy. It really is. I'm not memeing right now. I see it happening. Square Enix is very, very devoted and committed. That's what I'm saying too, dude. Get that Part 3 remake out before it gets bad. But I think that what people are really, I mean, this is a lot of the indicators that I'm seeing is that Square Enix is headed down a bad path. And the quality of their games is going to suffer. And we're going to suffer as consumers for people that love their titles, their games and stuff like that, you know. Square Enix has been very, very, very... So this is what I'll say. Anytime you see a developer get so wrapped up in any way that they can scam money out of consumers, they're headed in a very bad direction. I get it. Business is business. You got to make money. But look, let's be fair. It's not like Capcom wasn't going to make money on Dragon's Dogma 2. They're trying to scam as much money as they can out of consumers in a very, very blatantly disgusting way. And Square is doing the same thing with a lot of the things that the directions they're headed. You want to talk about a company that has not, as many other companies that got wrapped up in the trendiness of blockchain, NFT, crypto economy-based games, Web3, all that stuff. A lot of those other companies that pivoted away from that, Square is still heavily focused. And most of us have seen through it from the get-go. Most of those games, if you know, almost all games built on those premises have been a scamaz. Square is still heavily committed. So what does that tell you? Square is looking for ways to keep scamming money out of consumers. And it also should tell you they're not as focused anymore on just bringing great quality content to their fan base as much as they are how much money can we just wreck out of their wallets, you know? So Web3, crypto, Ethereum-based Web3 game, NFTs, play to earn, all that stuff. This is where Square's headed, dude. It's not a good look. A Final Fantasy VI remake matching. Yeah, we've talked about that. We've talked about that. Yeah, I'm not gonna pull that up today because we've talked about it. We talked about it not too long ago, actually. It might be the same article. Yeah, I think it actually is. Yeah. Yeah, it is that same article. We talked about that. Yep. We talked about that because so Final Fantasy VII is my favorite game of all time, and it's cool to see them doing this. Final Fantasy 3 or 6, whatever you want to call it, it was quite often referred to here in North America as Final Fantasy 3, but you know, a lot of the rest of the world does refer to it as Final Fantasy 6. And that's like our buddy Ferret. It's his favorite game of all. You know, it's his favorite Final Fantasy game. I don't know if it's his favorite game of all time, but favorite Final Fantasy game. It's right up there as like a very close favorite Final Fantasy game for me, behind 7. And a lot of people love that game. And, you know, a lot of people would love to see it come back in a modern styled game, you know, but I think, you know, obviously what they're talking about there is it would take a long time to get that done, you know. It would be dope though, wouldn't it? You already heard it's in development. You got that inside track, dog. There's so many rumors. I don't know. It's hard to, unless, you know, it's hard to dive into a lot of the speculation, a lot of the water cooler talk, unless you get the official stuff on it. But it could be. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, they're focused on Final Fantasy VII's, you know, the final piece of the trilogy, because that's got to come before anything else. So doesn't mean that they look. All these big studios are always constantly working on things simultaneously. Like somebody as big as Square Enix, right? They've got multiple projects going on at the same time. Some of them are early in development, so it's not even like something that they're working on coding or asset development or anything like that. It's more like, you know, just think tank stuff, you know, spitballing, working on, you know, a lot of this, you know, putting pieces together of the puzzle of storyline and stuff, and can we make this work and things like that before they actually start working on the core pieces of it. So there's no telling. You know, it could be in some kind of early piece of development where they're just trying to see if they could maybe make it work moving forward, you know. So who knows? Oh, Jeff Grubb confirmed it, huh? Oh, Final Fantasy 9. Oh, yeah. We had actually hit on that one a little while ago as well. Yep. Yeah, Final Fantasy 9 was cool. It was cool. It's not like one of my favorites. It was good. My favorite Final Fantasies, though, I mean, I would, you know, Final Fantasy 7 all-time favorite. Then it would be Final Fantasy 3/6, whatever you want to call it, and then it would be Final Fantasy 10 for me. 9 was cool. And it'll be cool to see what they do with Final Fantasy 9 remake. We had touched on that one as well a little bit ago. Yeah. Thanks, buddy. Baldur's Gate 3 director says publisher greed has been flipping up the industry and causing layoffs. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I've been talking about that for quite a while now. This is cool. We talked about that yesterday. Yeah, well, I don't understand how this Sims movie is going to work. It's going to be weird. Maybe it'll be easier to grasp once we see a trailer or something. But right now, I can't picture it in my mind's eye. PS5 Online is down right now. Update. Let's see what happened. PS5 is also getting a new user interface overhaul. Interesting. We touched on this earlier. Assassin's Creed Jade delayed until 2025. Will Smith can't save his acting career. How's he supposed to save a video game? You know what I mean? That was just, it was talking about the food, the jiggle mechanics, and the not safe for work jiggle skills that this artist has that has been applied to the food in Unicorn Overlord, apparently. That's all that was. It looks like there's an Ark Survival Evolved animated adaptation on Paramount Plus. I didn't know that. All right, let's dive in here, dude. Let's dive in here. True, what's up, friendo? How you doing? Oh, dude, my ribs are sore. My ribs are sore, dude. It's so weird that happened. 11 hot garbage games. Yeah, because they were on PS Plus. They'll be better once they leave. You're doing okay. Oh, man. That doesn't sound good. I'm all right. I'd be better if Dragon's Dogma 2 wasn't a hot flipping mess. Other than that, I'm okay, though. Yeah. Yeah, we'll get into it here in a second. Rise of the Ronin's not good either, dude. Shut up. Yeah, we'll get into it. We got a lot of articles up. There's performance issues, microtransaction issues. There's a lot of stuff going on. We'll get into it. We're gonna rant. Don't you worry. Yeah, we're gonna rant. Yep. We're gonna rant. Don't anybody worry. What's up, Tim Win? Rant. Yeah. It's happening. You know, I was like, dude, today's gonna be a good day. I got up at like 4 this morning, dude. Went for a nice little run. It's brisk, you know. Well, I'm still gonna boot the game up. I'm still booting the game up today. I've got Afterburner. I've got Rivia Tuner up. We're gonna see what the performance is like. I've got to find out more about what's going on here before I decide exactly. But I might be refunding the game. Yeah, we'll see what happens, Timwin. Here's my issue. One of the big things I need to find out, and it doesn't make this acceptable to me in any form or fashion, but are most of the things that they're trying to paywall people on still grindable in the game, or is all this stuff paywalled, you know? So I'll talk more of this once we get to these articles and everything. We've got plenty of stuff up to talk about this morning. But we've got a lot of stuff to flesh out still about what's going on with Dragon's Dogma 2. I do have the game. I'm ready to play it, see how it feels. I'm really pissed off right now about the bad optimization and performance. I'm really pissed off what I know so far about the microtransactions, because in my opinion, there should not be microtransactions in this game at all. We'll talk about it though, okay? What will probably happen is if I do decide to not play this game and refund it, because I don't necessarily want to support Capcom in this, what they've done here. If I get to that point where I just want to refund it, we'll figure out what we're going to play next besides just Binding of Isaac. Okay? Could be maybe starting Sons of the Forest a little bit earlier or something like that. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But we've got a lot to talk about. So, we'll get in here. We've got plenty of articles about Dragon's Dogma up. We'll get on it. Okay? I saw that, Ferret. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I saw it. What is this, dude? Venti looks like he's out of Final Fantasy, dude. So, good to see everybody. We have all of our articles. Happy Friday, man. I hope your weekend's starting well. I was really excited for what Dragon's Dogma 2 was potentially going to be, dude. I got my butt up early this morning at like 4. I went for a nice jog, dude. I was all psyched. And, you know, we've got some things to talk about. So let's get in here. Day shift next week. That's fine. We'll figure it out. You know what I mean? If this is something we've got things to figure out today anyways. It doesn't mean that's exactly what's going to happen. Well, I could play something else next week, and then the following week we could start that if that's what we need to do. You know what I mean? If you're willing, Pinky. We'll figure it out, dog. We'll talk about it. So let's get in here. We got plenty of Dragon's Dogma stuff up. We're going to get into that. I'm going to talk about not only the Dragon's Dogma stuff, but how many people got baited into thinking Dragon's Dogma 2 was going to be really good by the fact that Metacritic reviews have it slated as a 90. And they're not talking about performance issues before the game released. So how many of these critics have been bought by, you know, these big companies? It's a terrible thing. It's not something we should be dealing with. We should be able to rely on critics to give us a true understanding of not only the content behind a game, but how it performs as well. That is part of what a critique should be giving us, and I am so tired of it. But we've also got the Future Games show stuff happened yesterday. We're going to summarize that. I've heard a little bit of stuff where it's not fantastic on console too, but we'll dive into it. We'll figure it out. But here's the thing, Tinwin. It's on Metacritic, highest rated, and the most ratings. Well, the second highest ratings on PC, dog. It's at a 90 on PC. And it's actually balls of over 8,500 reviews right now on Steam. It's a 40 out of 100. So I think that has to tell you that there are a lot of critics out there that have been bought. They're not giving you a true understanding of what you're going to be getting into when you play a game. And that sucks for us as a gaming enthusiast community. It's terrible. I want to get to know you, chat. But I got to stop. Dude, I'm going to be so ranting today. It's going to be insane. I know, dude. I know, Ferret. All right. Let's dive into some stuff. Dude, this Dragon's Dogma stuff is gonna have me so flippin' jacked. PS Plus Extra losing 11 games in April of 2024. Following an unusual delay, Sony finally reveals which games will be leaving PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium in April of 2024. So what we'll do is, thanks, True. Feel a little bit better. So hyped for the rantings. That's what I told Pinky this morning. I was like, bro, I'm going to be ranting so hard. He was like, what did I say, bro? Check it out. I got to show you guys this. I was actually pretty proud of this GIF. You guys will love this. I'm not real big about showing the... Wait, watch. Bro, we were talking this morning. Pinky and I were talking. Pinky, do you care if I show a little bit of our DMs, dude? Are you okay with that? That sad face too. I don't want to show our DMs. Go for it. All right, dog. I don't want to show DMs without somebody being okay with it, but check it out. So we were talking about it this morning, right? We were talking about the dragon because Pinky's the first one to really kind of notify that sad face is terrible, dude. We were talking about it this morning a little bit, and I was like, thanks for the heads up. I'm gonna start looking into it. I started looking into it after you let me know. Utterly disgusting. Feeling a lot of ranting coming on this morning, and then he put, "Can't wait for that," and then this is what I replied with. Brother, it was perfect because of the mustache. You know what I mean? I was like, dog, I know you love it. Yeah. Flippin' Fez, too. Jesus Christ. What a great character that was. I was pretty proud of that GIF. That was a pretty good one, dude. Alright. Keep it moving, Dude, what was that? I almost got stun locked by an eyelash. At least 11 games will leave PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium in April. Save for Soul Calibur 6. Most of the newly confirmed departures are niche indie titles. The next PS Plus catalog rotation is expected to take place on April 16th. So the main one's going to be Soul Calibur 6. I'll give you the list here. Looks like Bassmaster Fishing, Chicken Police Painted Red, Dangerous Golf, Everspace, Fighting EX Layer, Ghostbusters the Video Game Remastered, Gunvolt Chronicles, Luminous Adventure IX, Necromunda Underhive Wars, Real Fishing, Road Trip Adventure, R-Type Final 2, and Soul Calibur 6 are leaving PS Plus in April, all right? If you want to play any of them, you need to get in there and get it. Baldur's Gate 3 DLC scrapped as Larian moves on from Dungeons and Dragons. It was a story with a beginning, middle, and an end, and it doesn't need more, Popular Games Director said. So Baldur's Gate 3 is a game you can get lost in. There are multiple paths to completing the main quest, branching narratives for the main characters, and lengthy skirmishes that can spill over into epic battles if you fancy it. You can even romance your favorite ally. Or romance a tentacle bro, as I did. Having slayed their fair share of goblins, witches, and tentacle-minded flayers since the game's release last August, it's no wonder fans of the fantasy RPG are clamoring for more content that may not come to pass, at least not from the game's lauded developer, Larian Studios. Speaking at the Game Developers Conference in San Francisco, Baldur's Gate 3 director Sven Vink made the shocking announcement that Larian would not be making any DLC, expansions, or sequels for the acclaimed game. He later elaborated to IGN that the studio did in fact start work on a DLC before canceling it to focus on other projects. We had heard a DLC was being made. DLC, short for downloadable content, is a purchasable add-on that typically demands a game's main campaign. That's not totally true. Downloadable content is not always something that has to be purchased. So it is just an add-on that does sometimes require a purchase. I agree, Tinwin. Fair to Larian. I agree. Because of all the success, the obvious thing would have been to do a DLC, so we started on one. Being said, we hadn't really had closure on BG3 yet, just jumped forward on something new felt wrong. Larian also considered doing a sequel to Baldur's Gate 3, but ultimately shifted to other projects. They've already kind of been vocal about the fact and upfront about the fact that they don't necessarily want to do something as big as Baldur's Gate 3 next. They want to kind of scale it down a little bit, which is also understandable. I respect that. Discussing the obstacles it faced, the main issue was adapting a tabletop game like Dungeons & Dragons, Vink said, especially its latest and most popular version known as the 5th edition. Not an easy system to put into a video game, he told IGN. We had all these ideas of new combat we wanted to try out, and they were not compatible. Taking to Twitter, the director said that while fans may be disappointed with the developer's decision to leave behind Baldur's Gate 3 and Dungeons & Dragons, it was ultimately the right thing for Larian. This is what I'd say. I know a lot of people love Dungeons & Dragons, but personally, I don't necessarily want to see Larian getting in bed with Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast anymore over this license. It's unfortunate that Hasbro owns the D&D license. In my opinion, they seem like a pretty disgusting company. And as much as people love D&D, you have to know who owns the rights to that license and what kind of company they are. And I love Larian. I think they're an amazing company, an amazing developer, and I don't necessarily want to see them doing a whole lot more with Hasbro, personally. It doesn't mean they can't still make great RPGs, just maybe not based off D&D, which a lot of people will go, well, then it won't be good. That's not true, you know? Right. Exactly. And, I mean, they haven't... Because their previous games weren't D&D based, right? Like the Divinity games weren't D&D based games, were they? Yeah, I didn't think so. So it's not like they don't already have their own proprietary kind of system they've used for games and built and everything, right? So it's not like they're averse to doing that. And I would rather see them get away from working with Hasbro anymore, personally. That's my own personal preference there. But they did say it was ultimately the right thing for Larian. It was a story with a beginning, middle, and an end, and it doesn't need more, Vink added in another tweet. As Larian moves on to other pastures, that leaves the fate of Astarion and Shadowheart in the hands of Dungeons & Dragons publisher Wizards of the Coast and its owner Hasbro. Last December, Hasbro laid off 1,100 workers, including most of the Dungeons & Dragons team that helped get the game off the ground. Will Baldur's Gate 4 come out? Who knows? Here's the thing that's unfortunate. Larian's departure doesn't mean that there won't be a Baldur's Gate 3 DLC or sequel. Seeing as the game has scooped up multiple Best Game Awards and sold over 10 million copies, a follow-up would be a no-brainer. Furthermore, Wizards of the Coast already has a strong roster of internal studios and external partners it works with to create video games based on its tabletop properties, which also include Magic the Gathering. But there's a big but here, okay? A big old giant but, if you will. None of these developers, these subsidiaries of studios under Wizards of the Coast, or Hasbro for that matter, are Larian. And we've seen a lot of the content that they've come out with. And it's not close to the same kind of content as Baldur's Gate 3. So, if a Baldur's Gate 4 was, and I mean, they're talking about a little bit of it right here, Dungeons & Dragons Dark Alliance, right? I think that this is one of the things I've been trying to make people aware of. Hasbro's been talking a lot here recently about how excited they are about, the premise of more Dungeons & Dragons games. And of course they are. They made a ton of money off of how well Baldur's Gate 3 did because it's a licensed game. They made money off of every sale, right? And it was good for them. And now there's a lot of hype generated about any more Dungeons & Dragons games coming out after Baldur's Gate 3. But what people have to understand is just because a game is Dungeons & Dragons based doesn't mean it's going to be of the same caliber and quality as something like Baldur's Gate 3 because it won't be Larian behind the development of it. But this is the problem in the gaming industry too. People get baited into this premise that because a game is set in the same universe or world that a previous good game was made, that it'll be of the same quality. And that's not the way it works. How many times have people been baited into playing a terrible Star Wars game because of Knights of the Old Republic? Or, how many times have people been baited into playing a terrible Lord of the Rings game, Gollum, because of maybe, the Shadows of Mordor or something. You know what I'm saying? And naturally, just because people love those universes too, and people love Dungeons and Dragons, but you've got to be careful. You can't get baited into the premise of just thinking that any game that comes out in these universes is going to be fantastic. You have to know and pay attention to who's making these titles. If it's Larian, by all means, get hyped up because it's probably going to be dope, right? But if it's going to be one of, the subsidiaries under Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast, you're probably better off being a little bit hesitant about getting your expectations hyped up. And you're probably better off not buying into it on pre-order or release and waiting and seeing what it has to offer, right? So Wizards of the Coast has also acquired Took Games, now known as Invoke Games. In 2019, the developer released Dark Alliance, mixed reviews in 2021. In 2022, Wizards of the Coast established a new studio called Skeleton Key, led by another BioWare alum, Christian Daly. Meanwhile, external developers Other Side Entertainment and Hidden Path Entertainment have both previously announced Dungeons & Dragons games that have since hit roadblocks. What will Larian do next? And as for Larian's next game, we know that it won't be Divinity Original Sin 3, another entry in the long-running RPG series that it produced since 2013. Instead, they said that the new title will dwarf the scope of Baldur's Gate 3, which would be an impressive feat considering the game can take hundreds of hours to fully complete. I heard previously they were saying they were going to scale stuff down, so I don't know what to believe now. Could you imagine a game coming out that was going to dwarf the scope of Baldur's Gate 3? Jesus Christ. I'll believe it when I see it. But if anybody could do it, I do think Larian could. You know what I mean? Love me some Larian, dude. It's interesting. So, if anybody was hyped, yeah, that's weird, right? Yeah. rumors, dude. The industry's full of rumors. Who knows what to believe unless it's official? And I mean, it seems like this was some quoted stuff. So, being said, the new title will dwarf the scope of Baldur's Gate 3. If that was a direct quote and not taken out of context, maybe they've pivoted and changed their direction. A pinky, I guess. I don't know, dude. Yeah, I know. That's what I was thinking too, bro. It's like, dude, if Larian wants to go big again, who am I to say no? Yeah, I mean, if you're going to trust a company to do it right, bro, I trust Larian. Let's go. Yeah, bring it. Dude, bring it. I'm about it. But, I mean, of course, we know that it's going to take time, right? There's going to be an amount of time we need to give them to bring us something of that caliber. So, you know, we'll wait and see what it is. But for anybody that was excited about the premise of Baldur's Gate 3 DLC, apparently that is no longer going to be a thing, at least currently. Doesn't mean there won't ever be, because I think that, you know, currently they're looking on to doing something different, and I respect that. And it doesn't mean that the potential of them going back and adding to this later on is totally dead, though. I think that, you know, there's always the potential for that to happen. We just got to give them time. PS5 Online is down right now. Unfortunately for PlayStation gamers, it seems as though the PlayStation Network is currently down for some users. Yo, Soup, just go get an Xbox, right? Soup's got his whole kitchen decked out in Xbox. He just loves Xbox, and so... He's tripping, dog. So, update. As of yesterday, the services are once again working as intended. The original story stated that the network was down for PlayStation 5 gamers, a rare occurrence for the online features to stop working, but it is apparently what happened. Thousands of individuals were reporting problems connecting to the PSN through the Down Detector website. Down for around an hour. They actually even tried to play Bloodborne online to test things out and were unable to connect to the online services. Yeah, but apparently that's all sorted out. Just a little blip apparently for PlayStation. Now, next is PS5 is getting a new UI overhaul. Yeah, new user interface, huh? So, if you weren't aware, the PlayStation 5 appears to be set to receive a new user interface overhaul, according to a new video from a popular PlayStation YouTuber. Ahead of any sort of official announcement from Sony, YouTuber Mystic showed off the new PS5 user interface for his viewers. The new user interface appears to have a number of new features, including the ability to change the background image, as well as the Explore page now showing things like trophies, console storage, and controller and headset battery life. Also a way to focus the type of content you see on the Explorer page, though you won't be able to move the new widgets around at your discretion. Mystic mentions that as of now, the update appears to be in beta and is only available to those in the US. That said, an announcement of when every PS5 owner should receive the update doesn't appear to be too far off. If you want to check out the full look at the new PS5 UI with a complete breakdown of all the new features, you can do so below. It's like 10 minutes. If anybody wants to look at it, I'll link this to you, okay? You can check out the new user interface. It gives you a bit of a look. But the 9-minute video there will give you a better idea of what you're in store for there. Looks like it's only rolling out in the, and they say just the US or North America. What'd they say? Beta only available in the US right now, but it should be rolling out everywhere soon. So be aware of that. Okay. Oh yeah. So the Resident Evil creator Shinji Mikami has established a new company. I've got to say, it feels bad that they left Tango, because I like Tango. I think Tango is a fantastic developer. If you don't know who Tango is, Tango is a developer that I fell in love with after playing the Evil Within games the first year I was streaming. We played the Evil Within, our first Scaretober here. Evil Within 1 and 2, and fantastic. Those games are so good. Then they came out with Ghostwire Tokyo that did fairly well. And most recently and notable, last year, they shadow dropped Hi-Fi Rush on us. So not only have they shown us that they can make great games of a specific genre, but they've shown us that they can be very versatile and bringing us great content in an amazing time of the gaming industry, where what we're going to be talking about a little bit later on, where you see so many big developers throttling us with disgusting monetization and stuff. We got Tango, who is a notable developer, shadow dropping a game on us at a low price point, $30. You know, there's a little bit of DLC in there and stuff, but a fantastic experience. It was thoroughly enjoyable, fantastic all the way around, and you know, at a very respectable price point. And it was just refreshing to see it, where we so often anymore feel like we're getting railroaded. It was so good to see Tango do something like that. So it feels kind of bad that Tango might be losing somebody of this caliber, but hopefully they're on to bigger and better things to bring us great content moving forward. And at least they're not with Capcom anymore, you know? That's good. Because Capcom is seemingly just nothing but a scummy business nowadays. But I digress. Resident Evil creator Shinji Mikami has established a new company now, and as they were no longer with Tango, let's see what we got here. That's according to a bio of the developer on the new Shadows of the Damned Hella remastered website. What is this? We'll pull that up. Which claimed that Mikami has recently founded Kamui Incorporated. No details further. What? Excuse me. Come again. No further details on the company have been shared. No further details on the company have been shared. Brother, does nobody proofread these articles before they get published by these these outlets? What's going on? No further details on the company have been shared. There is also no indication of what the company will do. In October of last year, the designer tweeted, "Now that I've broken the spell of non-competition on myself, I guess I should get to work." In 2023, Mikami left Tango, the studio behind The Evil Within, Ghostwire Tokyo, and Hi-Fi Rush, which he founded in 2010 before selling it to Bethesda. Mikami is best known for his time at Capcom, where he directed the first Resident Evil, its 2002 GameCube remake, and Resident Evil 4, among other titles. In 2020, Mikami stated that he wanted to direct one more video game project before he retires, adding that he had no shortage of ideas and they weren't limited to the horror genre. Currently working on Shadows of the Damned Hella Remastered alongside Goichi Suda. Suda, better known as Suda51, has indicated that he'd like to make another new game in the franchise, ideally with Mikami's involvement. Cool. Let's see what we got here. There's Suda. There's Mikami. You guys can read all about this. We'll watch this real quick, though, okay? The video's private now? Wait, what? See if we can pull up anything on YouTube. How long is that? 58 minute? Yeah, let's just watch this.
Grasshopper is heading to PAX East, and we're bringing Garcia with us. Play the new Shadows of the Damned remastered demo. with Grasshopper James, Maddie, Suda5150, and even Suda51. And of course, we've also got our own knockoff PAX pins. And what's more, challenge Suda51 to blackjack at the booth. Winners will score custom Shadows of the Damned Ring. Don't you dare miss this chance, amigos. Also, we seriously worked our asses off on this key art stuff. Grasshopper Manufacturer at PAX East 2024, featuring...
All right. Well, didn't give us a great look. But if you want more, here's the website for the game and everything. So there you go. Did I already link that? No, there we go. Okay. One of the weirdest games of the year will launch this May. I am interested in playing this during Scaretober, guys. This game looks wild. Have you seen this yet? Publisher 11-Bit Studios revealed that Indica, a very weird game from Odd Meter Studio that left a strong impression on me during February's Steam Next Fest, will finally come out in May. On May 8th, excuse me, exactly May 8th. This announcement came during Games Radar's Future Game Show at PAX East 2024 on Thursday afternoon via a trailer that runs the gamut from being hilarious to frighteningly eerie within just a couple of minutes. Indica has had some of the weirdest video game trailers I've ever seen since its reveal in October of last year. Seriously, check out the playlist of trailers for this game if you're unfamiliar with the game, and you'll be instantly intrigued. All right, take a look at this. This is really, really, really wild stuff. Oh, Pink, I didn't even see that. Soon from Larian, hiring every single person on Earth for voice acting. It's a rave! Hold right click to pray.
Please, talk to me this one time. How did I go against you? Is it in my power to intervene in your design? Is this a part of your plan? How it's supposed to be. He will be all right. Ilya will live. You can see I'm trying. But he's always behind my shoulder.
Ask and you shall be deceived. It's going to be a weird one, dude. For those trying to make sense, sorry, of what Indica actually is. Oh, yeah. Why does COD look so bad? Because it's Call of Dookie. The game is a narrative-driven third-person adventure game following the titular nun who is trying to help a man who claims to have spoken to God while dealing with the literal devil trying to speak to her subconsciously. All of this causes Indica to question her own faith as this puzzle-solving adventure continues to devolve into more otherworldly, depraved scenarios. It's a far cry from all the other games 11-bit has back, like Frostpunk and The Altars. While it might seem like your basic narrative adventure game on the surface, underneath those layers is a very unsettling experience. I wrote to the game after trying it out during the last Steam Next Fest. Indica is keen to highlight the inconsistencies and contradictions of religion by gamifying it. It looks really wild. Oh, dude, it's rando mode time. Let's go, guys. Can't win if you don't play, baby. Looking for that new record. And what you say? Yeah, this looks wild, dude. All right. So one more article before we start diving into the crappiness of what's going on with Dragon's Dogma 2. The best Amazon Spring Sale video game deals starting at $25. Amazon Spring Sale is bringing steep discounts to top video games. Console gamers can save over 60% on video game titles for a limited time. So you can see Mirage is $55, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown $32. Lots of DLC coming for this game too. Crew Motorfest, which is $60 at Amazon. I would look at reviews for this first. Payday 3, I don't even think is worth $20. So I would watch out for that one too. Super Bomberman R, $25. They've got a see more button here. There's going to be a lot of other sales and stuff you can take a look at. There's some Horizon Forbidden West at $53. Dead Space Remake at $33. EA Sports FC. All kinds of deals, different platforms. Xbox Series X deals, Switch deals, all the things, man. So if you're looking for maybe some deals on some software right now, some gaming software, you can look and see if maybe Amazon has some deals for you. All right, it's time to get into it, man. I don't even really know where to begin with this. I think that what I have to say first and foremost is before I've even been able to play this game yet, I'm severely disappointed. Severely disappointed with what is happening here coming out of Capcom with Dragon's Dogma 2. I'm going to be a bit of a broken record for a lot of the things we've already talked about this morning, as this is a hot topic right now. A lot of us in the community have already talked about a lot of this stuff, but now that we're hitting these articles, we need to flesh this out a little bit more. And I have been watching Capcom really kind of quickly move away from one of the companies that I felt like had continued to show they were a better company to be able to rely on in the AAA industry for quite some time. But as of about a year and a half ago, I really started to see them declining rapidly. With things like their release of Exo Primal being a huge scumfest. It was I don't think it was a AAA price tag, but it was close to it if it wasn't. And it was just so monetization heavy. And it really wasn't. That game should have been closer to a free-to-play game. With that much monetization and what the game actually was, there was no need for that game to be something that, it was just really gross. Then with all the stuff we've heard and articles that I've pushed out about us finding out about the CEO of Capcom talking about how they want to keep raising prices and finding ways to push up prices for what they can get out of us as consumers for their products, into Capcom basically wrecking the relationship between themselves and the community of modders behind their games, their software. Over about, like I said, the past year to year and a half, there's been a significant issue with seeing where Capcom's been headed. A lot of indicators for me that's shown they've been headed in the wrong direction, and Dragon's Dogma 2 here is a brutal look, I think, at where Capcom has finally landed, and we can't rely on them anymore and it sucks. They are, I think, now need to be considered in the same light as many of the other AAA developers that we've created into these juggernaut monsters of greed. Whether you want to talk about EA or you want to talk about Blizzard, or the list goes on and on and on. That once upon a time were amazing for many of us. They've created so many amazing experiences, and Capcom is definitely one of those companies. They have so many amazing franchises with Resident Evil or Mega Man, or I mean, you know, the Street Fighter. Dude, the list goes on and on and on and on, right? They've got so many, and there's a reason why they've gotten so big over the years. They've had so many great titles and franchises that we've all loved. But I think that, as with many companies that follow the same kind of road that Capcom has, they lose their way. They forget what it means. Hey, Peter, what's up, man? How you doing? Happy Friday, buddy. They forget what it means to be focused on being a quality company aimed at making quality content, both on the front of performance and content within the software itself for their consumers and us as their fans. And instead, they have gotten just totally polluted with business-minded people. Does that mean that I think that there are no people left in this company that are one of us? No, but they aren't able to show through anymore. There's too many business-minded people at the top of this company making the big decisions, and basically that's what it comes down to, right? What we know about Dragon's Dogma 2 right now is that, you know, unfortunately this game is not performing very well, so that does fall on the developers of this game. That feels bad. And it's riddled with microtransactions, which, let's be fair, many of us have become accustomed to seeing microtransactions in most games anymore. But there's a big difference between microtransactions in a game that are optional, as far as maybe some cosmetic stuff or whatever, in especially a single player title. This game has an online component, but it's not a multiplayer game. This is a single player title with an online component in the pawn system. That's it. And it's at a AAA price tag, and they've monetized this game in a way where they've incorporated developing the mechanics of this game around making you feel like you need to buy into quality of life paid items so that it makes the game more convenient for you. And that sucks. We're not talking about DLC items that are you know, putting a cool cape on your character or some cool armor set or something like that. We're talking about legit, they developed this game in a way to make people feel like they need to buy into DLC items to make it more convenient to carry around camping gear that weighs less, to be able to fast travel in the game, to be able to revive your characters or pawns or whatever. You know, there's all kinds of ways in which they made this feel like, as a convenience, as a quality of life, you need to be buying items with real world money after you've already bought this game at a AAA price tag or even above that maybe. And that's disgusting. And it feels so bad. After somebody that played Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen in 2016 and spent 130 hours in that game, you know, it's unfortunate that I've got articles on the YouTube page about Capcom and the ways that the indicators I've seen where they've been showing they're moving in the wrong direction. I was hoping it wouldn't rear its head with this title, and unfortunately here we are. Capcom turning into EA. Yeah, I mean, that's basically where we're at, you know? And as I talk about all the time, there's only one way for us to get away from these companies that we've created, and that's to quit supporting them. We have to, you know, they do this kind of, and I've talked about something else here recently in the gaming industry that's disgusting. You know, what we're seeing, what Capcom is doing here with Dragon's Dogma 2, and I don't know all the ins and outs of it yet because I'm going to play the game later today. I'm going to be running, Afterburner, Rivia Tuner. We're going to be seeing what kind of performance we get on the game. We're also going to be seeing how much of those in-game items are grindable. How grindy are they? Is it acceptable? I'm still not going to feel good about the microtransactions at all. It's still going to be disgusting to me. but how much of it is actually totally paywalled, how much of it is grindable in game, I don't know all of those details yet. We're gonna find out. But one of the things that this is almost comparable to is RGG and Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth, and them paywalling New Game Plus. That's not okay. They paywalled New Game Plus. If you bought the base edition of the game, you don't get New Game Plus. If you wanted New Game Plus in that game, you had to buy a higher edition of that game above their AAA price tag, which is disgusting. That should never be a thing, ever. This is they're setting precedents in this industry for us as consumers that's going to be a snowball effect, right? This kind of thing happens right here, like what's happening with Dragon's Dogma 2. And if we let them keep doing this kind of stuff to us, it's only going to get worse and worse and worse. There's nobody out there that's going to protect us from these kinds of things happening, these businesses are doing to us as fans of gaming, consumers of gaming, right? All of us. It just continues to get worse if we don't stand up and go, we can't support this anymore. Because it really comes down to us. There's no other organizations out there in this industry that go, this is scummy, this is bad, we've got to protect the consumers from bad quality products or bad industry practices or anything like that. It's not out there. They don't do it. It's all on us, man. So with that notion, I'm ranting today. I'm so pissed about this. It's so disgusting to see this happen to a game that I was so hopeful would be good. It crushes my gamer, heart, man. It just is absolutely got a chokehold on it because I was so hopeful this game would be good because I was so in love with the first game, and I really was like, dude, it's a single player game. It's not a multiplayer environment. I don't think they'll really do too much to ruin it. Stuff like. But sure enough, dude, here's Capcom proving me wrong. And again, on the YouTube channel, our YouTube channel, man, I've got articles up talking about these terrible, terrible sentiments and statements that their COO has pushed out that, were indicative of leading to this exact situation. It's unfortunate. It's not like I haven't seen it coming. I was just hopeful it wouldn't happen right now. And so with that, I guess, preface to what we're going to be diving into here, we've got multiple articles. We've got some Twitter posts. We've got issues to talk about with microtransactions in this game. We've got issues to talk about with performance of this game. There's a lot of bad happening right now, and this is what we're going to try to play today. But there's a good chance I might try to refund this too, because I'm not about supporting this company and what they're doing here with this. So let's go ahead and dive into what we have here, okay? Dragon's Dogma 2 mostly negative on Steam as microtransactions emerge. Dragon's Dogma 2 has just been released by Capcom. I'm going to have like a Capcom gag gif now, not just EA, dude. It's disgusting. Serving as the long-awaited follow-up that fans have spent, more than a decade waiting for. It hasn't landed well, though. As the game hit storefronts the world over, players uncovered a sizable suite of microtransactions that weren't disclosed ahead of the game's launch. As a result, irritated and disappointed gamers have started review bombing Dragon's Dogma 2 on Steam, with 62% of the 47,000 reviews at publishing being negative. It's worse now. So let's refresh this real quick. Of over 9,300 reviews now, we're at 40% positive. So this game is just above negative right now. This game is just above a negative review. At what if you don't know, if you're not computing this morning, if your math's a little off because it's Friday, 40% positive means a 4 out of 10 rating by over 9,300 reviewers, or a 40 out of 100. That's terrible, right? I'm going to get into some of the review stuff in here in a second, Ferret, and I'll grab that. I've looked at some of the reviews already as well, but I'm going to wait to dive into some of the review stuff until I get down here to the Metacritic stuff. So give me a second. Appreciate it, buddy. Sheer controversy. It's hard to say has players It's hard to say has players more pissed off. I think they missed a word in here, which was supposed to be what. It's hard to say what has players more pissed off. The fact that Capcom didn't disclose these microtransactions or the fact they exist in the first place. In a deceptive move, almost 24 Dragon's Dogma microtransactions have been uncovered on digital storefronts such as Steam. They cover everything from character edits to fast traveling and from revives to rift crystals in an in-game currency. It was claimed by reviewers that this information was detailed in the review guide that Capcom provided, but that was about it. It wasn't previously known before the game was released that these microtransactions existed. What's worse is that some of these microtransactions are taking on pay-to-win mechanics. Yes. As I said before, this isn't a situation where you're like talking about some of the things we've become accustomed to seeing in certain titles, like maybe some skins, cosmetic kinds of things like that. This is something totally different and not really acceptable at all, offering certain advantages that you can either can't get naturally in the game or that you can't get without grinding. One Steam user said, "Look how they massacred my boy, turned him into a cash grab, murdered his soul, should have let him rest, but instead you dug him up, waved his corpse around with makeup on like the rats you are." Dude, fantastic quote. That is the way it feels. Elsewhere, PC users have been complaining about optimization issues and the presence of de novo. Claims are floating around that Capcom has delivered anti-consumer practices by failing to disclose the microtransactions ahead of time. Yep. Agreed. Yep. So moving on to the next article, I agree with that. I think that's a super anti-consumer. They should have made it very apparent that they were going to be doing this kind of stuff from the get-go. So we're going to read another article about this right now. I will get to the review part of this in a second, because one of the things that I want to wait to really dive into the review process of this, we're going to go back to Steam, we're going to look at those reviews, we're going to compare to Metacritic, we're going to look at what Ferret's put into chat, all that stuff, so just give me a moment. Dragon's Dogma 2 players, high hopes dashed with the game's release. Awful performance on PC and microtransactions are to thank for the game's mostly negative rating on Steam. So, Dragon's Dogma 2, the much-anticipated RPG from Capcom, is finally here. However, what comes together with the release is its performance issues on its PC port. Despite its commendable features, the game's high-end demand on CPUs has resulted in unavoidable performance issues, irrespective of the robustness of the user's gaming rig. In an explanation to IGN, a Capcom representative mentioned, quote, "In Dragon's Dogma 2, a large amount of CPU usage is allocated to each character and dynamically calculates the impact of their physical presence in various environments. In certain situations where numerous characters appear simultaneously, CPU usage can be very high and may affect the frame rate. We are aware that in such situations, settings that reduce GPU load may currently have a limited effect. However, we are looking into ways to improve performance in the future." This should not have released with these issues. Let's go ahead and just say this right now. There's no way they didn't know that this game was performing this way on PC before release. And it shouldn't have released yet. That's what this really comes down to. There's no need to sugarcoat this. This game wasn't ready for release yet. They released it anyways. And that's gross in and of itself. Alongside the frame rate issues, Dragon's Dogma 2 has also been plagued by stability problems, with reports of regular crashes interrupting gameplay. This instability, combined with the inconsistent frame rate, even on high-end hardware, has been a significant point of contention in the otherwise well-received RPG. By the time this article was written, many negative reviews on Steam were due to compatibility issues, as well as microtransactions, making the game a mostly negative rating on the platform. Despite these issues, Capcom has reassured players that they are aware of the problems and are actively seeking ways to improve the game's performance in future updates. With their promise, players can look forward to potential solutions that will address the current performance challenges. Don't forget to join So, more of what we've talked about, but just this is going to lead into, I think that was at least a good segue for this next article, because shout out Soup, thanks buddy, appreciate this. That article talked about how Capcom has addressed in some form or fashion that they are aware of the issues. Of course they're aware of the issues. They were aware of the issues before the game released. If anybody thinks that they weren't aware of these issues before the game released, you're out of your mind. How could they not be? They knew this game was going to be terrible on PC. I don't know about how well it's doing on console platforms right now, but there's no way they didn't know. But they pushed it out anyways. So thanks for acknowledging the fact that you understand there are frame rate issues, because obviously you published the game knowing it was unoptimized and unfinished, right? So great job, Capcom, for confirming what we already knew that you already knew. Capcom has confirmed it is aware of frame rate issues in Dragon's Dogma 2 on PC, looking to improve performance in the future. The open world RPG is released today, but suffers from an inconsistent frame rate when playing on PC. A large amount of CPU usage, like we just talked about, is looking to be the cause of a lot of this. Quote from Capcom, "We are aware that in such situations, settings that reduce GPU load may currently have a limited effect. However, we're looking into ways to improve performance in the future." That's all they're saying. So, more powerful systems will run the game better, though results seem to be inconsistent. For reference, the minimum system requirements on Steam are as follows. This is what's really, really crappy, right? So these are minimum system requirements, yeah? And recommended system requirements are a Core i7 10700 or an AMD Ryzen 5 3600X, and that's CPU. GPU is an RTX 2080 or a Radeon RX 6700. People are playing this game with well above those recommended requirements, not to mention they're recommending 16 gigs of RAM, a few other things, and people are playing well above that requirement and are not getting close to the performance that is promised here. Capcom has not discussed potential frame rate improvements for the console versions, where there are also performance issues. Across both consoles, the game does not include graphics or performance options and instead runs with an uncapped frame rate, generally hovers around 30 frames per second, but can vary depending on the environment. This was stated by director Hideki Itsuno of Twitter. As a result of the frame rate issues, some players are planning on killing spree of NPCs to drop the CPU load. A community made a list of inconsequential NPCs you can kill to boost FPS. How bad is this? This is how bad this is. The gaming community that is committed to playing this game is making a list of NPCs that you can kill off to try to make the gameplay better. This is not something you should have to do. This is asinine. Since the way NPCs are handled is theorized to be very taxing on your CPU, killing off NPCs should boost your performance. However, what's the point of killing off NPCs to boost your frame rate if you're also killing content? This is why I am suggesting a community-sourced list of junk NPCs we are free to murder. Responses include killing any non-shopkeeper guards or even murdering NPCs after finishing their quest. This idea is wild. The optimization is so bad that we have people wanting to commit mass genocide for more frames. One commenter surmised, yeah, that's exactly kind of what I was getting at. Frame rate issues are already a meme for the game before it's even been released. Jesus Christ. So bad. Just a second, Soup. What is this? We've already talked about that first article, Soup. We talked about the Dragon's Dogma 2 fast travel stuff weeks ago. We talked about that weeks ago. And it wasn't the fact that they were not going to be putting... This is the thing. When that article came out, what it basically stated was that they weren't going to totally eliminate fast travel in the game, but what they made it seem like was that you were going to have to pay in-game currency, and it would be expensive in-game currency to utilize fast travel. So you were going to have to be kind of very decisive about when and where you wanted to fast travel if you were going to fast travel. You know, it wasn't going to be just something you were going to be able to do willy-nilly. So I've covered that stuff. All right. Now, obviously, yeah, they've added in fast travel paid real money paid fast travel currency and everything now too, which makes it even, disgusting. They're like, oh, well, we don't want you to fast travel. So basically that article that Soup has up and is the Games Radar stuff, what we covered that like 3 or 4 weeks ago, dude. And it was weird to me. It was like, well, I don't know that I totally agree with that. I've played plenty of games where fast travel has been a very, very great quality of life thing for the game. And I've played games where you don't necessarily need as much fast travel as they give you, maybe. I understand a lot of times developers wanting you to experience the world they're giving you and maybe making it to where they entice you to view more of the world, travel through more of the world instead of just always fast traveling it. You know what I mean? So I can understand that to an extent. But had we known what we know now in the fact that they were trying to just keep you from fast traveling to make you pay real world money for it, it would have felt a lot more disgusting. We didn't know that at the time, though. We know it now. So I don't necessarily need to pull that stuff up. Soup, I appreciate it. We've talked about those in the past, and what we know now is we'll lead up to this. So, Soup, thanks for this Twitter post, by the way. Appreciate it. So, as you can see, here's your Dragon's Dogma 2 prices, and here's all the DLC, right? So this is the impression I'm getting right now, and we need to dive a little more into this. But the Explorer's Camping Kit is something that you can only buy. You can't get this in the game, from what I understand. You can get camping kits, but they're extremely, extremely burdensome, meaning they weigh a lot, they're very heavy, and you are going to be not able to carry a whole lot more than that, which is unfortunate, like loot-wise and stuff like that. So they've made these Explorer's Camping Kits that you can purchase, which weigh much, much less, to try and entice people to buy these camping kits with real-world money instead of the ones that you can get in the game, because it's a much more quality of life item to carry around, rather than, so they've built this game in a way to try and push people towards buying these in-game microtransactions. It's disgusting. It's really gross. What I understand, so obviously the music and sound collection is whatever. If you want it, obviously. The smoke beacons, the pendant, rift incense, the Galkey, character editor, warp location marker, these restore the dead to life wake stones, all of this stuff, I think you're going to be able to grind in game, but it's going to be not real easy. It's going to be expensive from what I understand. And so if you want to kind of, I mean, it does feel very pay to win. It's not it really just like pay to progress. This feels pay to win, and it's very, very gross. We need to find out more. I am pretty sure that I've got this right on the Explorer's Camping Kit. I think the rest of this is stuff that you will be able to get in game just through grinding stuff, but it's not a good look, dude. It's pretty bad right now. I'm gonna like that. I'll repost that too in a moment. It's pretty disgusting, man. Pretty gross. So, moving on, and I'll go grab what Ferret has as well, right? And we'll talk about this. Now, there's something that I think that all of us that are true gaming enthusiasts in this industry all the way around, we have to be hyper aware of a problem in this industry. It's unfortunate. We looked at reviews for the 3 big games releasing today. We looked at them all yesterday, right? And we looked at them all on Metacritic. And I've got to say, I've been noticing more and more and more through Metacritic that I can't rely on this site's game reviews anymore. And I'll tell you why. Obviously, we looked at Rise of the Ronin yesterday. It got a 76, which, you know, I don't know. It seems on par with what I've heard. Princess Peach, 75, seems on par with what I've heard. And then there's these kinds of situations too that I keep finding to be a more frequent occurrence for these kinds of review sites, for what these critic reviewers of video games are giving us, and it's unacceptable. So you want to take a look at Dragon's Dogma 2, right? Being listed as an 87 on PS5, a 90 on PC, and an 86 on Xbox Series X. There's something wrong here. This is not acceptable. You know, you want to talk about something terribly wrong when you're getting what are supposed to be professional critic reviews for a piece of entertainment in the gaming industry, and we know for a fact that this game has significant performance issues that means most people are not able to enjoy the content because the performance is so bad. Why are we being misled and misinformed by critics that this game is rated at a 90? That this game is a 9 out of 10 on release. This is not okay. This should not be happening. The people that are rating this game this high, I'm going to be understanding of the fact that, especially on PC, there's going to be variance in people's performance levels, right? Because PC hardware is you know, the configurations everybody runs is widely, you know, varied, and there's going to be a lot of different, you know, but let's be clear. This game is balls optimized, and it's badly performing right now on PC across the board. Are there going to be a few random people here and there that might have a decent, you know, experience? Yeah. But most people, because it is obviously severely unoptimized and it was unfinished, this game should not have been released yet. It definitely is looking that way. You can't tell me that out of 58 critic reviews, or let's go to PC, my bad. You can't tell me that out of, you know, 35 PC reviews, it got a baseline 90. That out of 35 of these reviewers, you know, 90% of them were having that good of a time and weren't experiencing performance issues. And, you know, some of them point out maybe a very, very small portion of their review talks about maybe some performance stuff. It's not of the gravity in which they should be talking about this. And most of them don't even talk about performance issues, which tells me these sites and these professional critic for video game review are bought. And you can't rely on them. Right? So this is terrible. PC Games In actually did a solid job. Those who rise to the challenge of meeting it on its own terms are suitably rewarded, but a deluge of trash mobs, restrictive fast travel, endemic hardware issues will be a deal breaker for many. This is what you expect to see out of most of these. And most of these aren't even talking about any of the performance issues. Why? Because you know that most of these reviewers had to have been dealing with significant performance issues. But they don't want to talk about it. There's only one reason why. They're bought. You can't rely on this anymore. It's terrible. The thing that sucks is there are literally almost no sites you can go to anymore. You know what I mean? To get an early review of you know, where games are that you can trust now, right? And obviously, you know, which means that if you're not 100% sure a game's going to be fantastic on release, you just got to wait. Because you can't trust critics anymore either. They're all bought by this industry. It's insane. So even, you know, obviously I think PC is dealing with worse issues than the console side, but even on PS5 and Xbox Series X, there's performance issues, and they're still just, you know, I mean, where's it stop, dude? Where does the scumminess in this industry, you know, it's so disheartening, dude. I get so tired of it. You know, I know I rant a lot about this kind of stuff, but Jesus Christ, man. These companies are sucking the soul out of what video games were always meant to be. And it is terribly, it's just crushing, dude. For all of us that love video games for what they were always meant to be, you know, and it sucks because a lot of these companies are really overshadowing the great companies in the industry. Tango, Larian, you know what I mean? Can't name them all, but there are a lot of big, scummy, trash-ass corporations in this industry that are making the you know, that are really overshadowing even what the good ones are doing, and it's bad, dude. It sucks. Ferret said, saw one review that gave better clarity, assuming it's true, in regards to the microtransaction. Unfortunately, they exist. However, every item apart from the character edit item is extremely easy to obtain in-game. By simply walking around with pawns, you'll receive wake stones, find port crystals throughout the game. They respawn in New Game Plus, allowing you to take one at every location you could ever want to travel to. Well, let's hope that's the case. Let's hope that's the case. Thanks, buddy. Let's hope that's the case, yeah. So that's what I was at least hopeful of, but let me say this. It still feels bad. It still feels bad that, you know, the game itself is a AAA or above that price tag. If you bought the anything above the base version, right? Base version $70, and then they felt like they needed to ruin this with microtransactions too. Come on, man. This was just so unneeded, you know, for a game like this that so many, you know, that this is what the thing that's so gross about it is the reason they did it to this game. The reason they did it to this game is because they knew so many people loved the previous entries. They knew how many people were going to buy this game. And that's why they did it to it. And that just shows you even more how bad Capcom is. Capcom's done. They are flipping cooked, son. They are fried. They are no longer the company that anybody ever loved them once upon a time for what they were with any of their old stuff, whether it be Mega Man or Street Fighter or Resident Evil, or I mean, you name it. It goes on and on and on. They are done. Capcom's over, dude. They have lost their way. They're finished. It's so mauling, dude. It's so disappointing, you know? I can't tell you how much it breaks my heart, man. I have so much passion for what this industry is and what it's always been for me, and to watch these companies turn into something like this over and over and over is just so sad. It's so sad, dude. It literally, like, it hurts me to the core, dude. Thanks, Drew. Yeah. This is a really hard one for me. For them to do this to Dragon's Dogma is it is painful. It's really painful for me. Everything announced at the again, like, so for anybody that, you know, I mean, dude, we're gonna try it out this morning. My hopes have really been dashed here. I don't know exactly what to expect other than probably being very disappointed, really, to be honest with you. I'm expecting the worst. I have Afterburner set up with Rivia Tuner. We're gonna be tracking performance on both CPU and GPU, frames, that kind of stuff. I'll have an overlay up. We're gonna watch it. We're gonna see how it goes, and so we'll see how performance is. We'll play it for a little while. We'll see what we think, and I mean, dude, I've got all my drivers updated for everything. We're all good to go. I wanted to try to make sure that this was going to be the absolute best experience we could possibly have with this game, because I knew it was already having issues. So even before this morning, I knew we were having issues as of yesterday. So I tried to make sure I was set up for in the best possible spot to play this, to get the best experience we possibly could, and we'll see what happens. We're gonna try it. It's not like I'm just gonna, not give it a shot, but between the performance issues where they've obviously released this game too early and the microtransactions, boy, I mean, it's a heartbreaking thing to experience for a game that I loved so much. I mean, it's one of my favorite RPGs. Dark Arisen is one of my favorite RPGs, man, and this just, what a horrible way to follow it up. It feels terrible. So this took place yesterday. The Future Game Show took place yesterday. I wasn't aware it was actually taking place yesterday, or I had forgotten, but it was going to be later in the day, and I probably wouldn't have been able to stay live for it anyways. So it could have been a case where I knew about it and just kind of brushed it off because I knew I wouldn't be able to stay live for it, something like that. But anyways, it did take place. We're going to summarize it right here, okay? So everything announced at the Future Game Show Spring Showcase 2024. Every trailer, reveal, update, and world premiere from the showcase. So, Samantha Baert Carlock from Baldur's Gate 3 and Ben Starr, Clive Rosfeld from Final Fantasy XVI did an excellent job as this show's hosts, presenting over an hour of exciting new trailers and updates, release dates, and even world premieres for over 40 upcoming games. The Spring Showcase was streamed live across the Games Radar Plus and Future Game Show channels. I'm not going to keep this one up. You can watch it all right here if you want to recap it. It's like 90 minutes long. Yesterday, if you couldn't watch it live, you're in the right place. We've got a full list of every game that featured in the show, so you can not only catch up but also read more about the various games showcased. Also included reveals from the Future Game Show Expansion Pack, our new post show that aired directly from the Spring Showcase. Death Sprint 66. Wait, what? What's up, Sue? Yeah, you can't help some people, dude. You can't help some people. Those kind of people, dude, don't understand why it's, and you can't even try to express the sentiment to them. You know what I mean? They're a gamer, Karen, dude. They're a gamer, Karen. You probably won't be able to help them. So Death Sprint 66 was this year's Spring Showcase. Started with one of the world premiere reveal trailer for Death Sprint 66, a PvP arcade racer set in a dystopian future. It's coming to PC in 2024. I'll bring up YouTube and we'll watch some of these, okay? They don't have it embedded, so yeah, so we'll watch this. Or to, increase your resolution. I mean, where does it stop? You know, we talked about that. Where does it stop, dude? It's so bad. Okay. Okay. There's that. Yeah. I don't know, dude. Zookosis? A new trailer for body cam horror game Zookosis debuted during the Future Game Show Spring Showcase. You play as a zookeeper who must work to stop a malicious parasite from infecting the animal kingdom. Coming to PC later this year. Is it on us? We'll just pull it up on YouTube. It's fine. Jesus Christ, that was awesome.
Now you are.
That was my kind of giraffe, dude.
The job is not difficult. You have nothing to worry about.
Bro. Uh-oh. Nice. All right, dude. Hold on. That might be a nice Scaretober game, dude. Hold on. Yeah, I'll link it to you if you guys want to check it out too. Wish list. Dude, I want to see a gorilla get jacked up. You know what I mean? Could you imagine a gorilla getting flipping jacked up by that parasite? God dang, that'd be incredible. All right. Then there was Harold Halibut. Okay, we got a little article about this. Harold Halibut. Slow Bros' stunning handmade adventure game Harold Halibut returned to the Future Game Show with this year's Spring Showcase. All new trailer revealed that players will be able to make their mark on this captivating clay world on April 16th when it launches on PC, PlayStation, and Xbox. Finally launching after 14 years in the making. Incredible. Tells a sci-fi story about a small community living entirely within a spaceship, the Fedora, that's trapped in an alien planet's ocean. Players take on the role of Harold, an assistant to a scientist aboard the ship, looking for a way to free it and continue its intended journey. Though that premise may sound dark, it's warm in its tone, focusing on the relationships between its cast of eccentric characters. Interesting. I think we might have seen something about this before. I'll let you read all of this if you want. It's kind of a long article, but we'll bring up a trailer for it, okay? You can read all this if you're interested. Pretty sure we've seen a trailer for this previously, though. Come on, man. Yeah, this is the one from yesterday, so we'll watch this.
Darling Arna. When the ship crashed, I half wondered if life as we knew it would collapse in on itself as well. It seemed like the pressure of the ocean surrounding us was pressing through the ship's hull, and I wondered how any of us, would find a new way to keep going on.
There aren't many people I can talk to without feeling inferior.
Oh, thanks.
No, I didn't mean like that.
Thanks.
You're not a Jimmy Judger, you know? You seem to just accept.
Nobody should be judging Jimmys, you hear me?
I try.
Chat, quit
Could be
judging the
worse.
Jimmys.
But there must
You Jimmy Judgers.
be more to life.
Jesus.
Is that Dr. Computer? Dr. Computer? This opens a whole box of questions.
Actually,
This looks wild.
I did kind of make a mistake.
We all make them, Harold.
Ah! Who? What? So,
We're sorry to put the burden on you, Harold, but you're the next best man for the job.
yes! I mean, yes.
Interesting. Cool.
My work here's done. Laters, mister.
Thanks.
Flintlock, The Siege of Dawn. We've seen Flintlock. I'm not going to pull up the trailer for this. Developer diary from the team behind Flintlock, Siege of Dawn, dug into the game's rhythmic combat. Flintlock is the next game from A44, the creators of Ashen, coming to PC, PlayStation, Xbox in the summer of 2024. Yeah, this one doesn't really have me very excited, to be honest. In Natria, the last song, a blood-pumping gameplay trailer for Natria, the last song, dropped during the showcase. Souls-like replays a match where you're trapped in an eternal play. Coming to PC, PlayStation, August 21st. Let's look at Natria here.
An eternity it spent, playing out in the tortured halls of my mind. Mentors, friends, and lover alike turn against you. Whatever end we meet, it has been a delight to compose the song of change together. The swirling maelstrom of creation. Magnificent. Is it not?
How hard is it, dude, to actually like pick out the decent, you know, games that try to emulate the Soulsborne series, you know, or genre? It's it's so polluted. It's so polluted. It's so hard to pick out the good. That one didn't really do anything for. I mean, just seeing the trailer didn't really do much for me there. It doesn't mean it won't be good necessarily. I'll tell you what I'm waiting for though. I'm waiting for DLC to drop for Liza P, and then I want to play Liza P. But we'll see. We'll see. See how it is. The Constructors is a city builder for all the wannabe Bob the Builders out there. A new gameplay trailer for the construction simulator appeared in the Future Game Show Spring Showcase. Fancy constructing the neighborhood of your dreams? You can check it out when it launches on PC in Q2 of 2024. I would say I would prefer to see people going after something like this if it's comparable to City Skylines rather than people supporting City Skylines 2 and Colossal Order when Colossal Order released and published City Skylines 2 when they even were quoted as saying, we're releasing the game even though we know it's not finished. That's gross. Shouldn't happen. Tenebrious Somnia. Andres Borghi swung by the Future Game Show Spring Showcase to talk about this game. Tenebrious Somnia, blurring the lines between film and game. Oh, man. 8-bit horror adventure, but all the cutscenes are shot in live action. Oh, I think we've seen this, dude. I think we've seen this. Hold on. I'll pull it up on Steam. We're getting a lot of flipping tabs up here, so I won't be able to put them all in Discord. Yeah. Yeah, we have seen this. Yep. Looks kind of wild. I'll show you real quick. It's kind of neat. That is kind of neat. I like this. Pretty wild. If you want to check it out, here you go. What else we have? Dustborn. We've seen Dustborn before. Spring Showcase debuted a gameplay trailer for the road trip adventure game Dustborn. Revealed more of the game's sinister setting, the divided states of America. Dustborn coming to PC, PlayStation, and Xbox on August 20th. Void Rot. Have we seen Void Rot? Cosmic Horror Metroidvania. Transverse multi-dimensional depths to collect the blood of the gods. Void Rot is coming soon to PC and Switch. Let's see if it's on here. Yeah, let's take a look at this. Well, we can already see where they got their inspiration from, you know what I mean? Art style wise, dude, it is so flippin' Hollow Knight. Jesus Christ. Wow. I mean, it's not the exact same, but there's a lot of... I mean, oh my god, dude, come on. It is heavily influenced. Jesus Christ. Yeah, okay. There you go. If you want to take a look at that. Unrailed 2. Chaotic cooperative railroad construction game. Omega Crafter. Open world survival game. Program your robot sidekick to do your bidding. Take a look at this real quick. There's a lot of flipping games in here. Dude, there's so many. There's so many. Holy crap, dude. We're going to have to pick and choose here. I'm just going to go down here and list the rest of these, man. We're going to get towards gaming, okay? Ascendant Infinity, Foundation Galactic Frontier, ES Digital Games Montage, No Rest for the Wicked. Ooh. Next month, baby. I can't wait. Holston. This looks dope as well. That game looks awesome. EV2. Open world third person mech shooter, which you save the Earth from an alien invasion? Excuse me, what? I have to look at this. I can't help it. Free to play? Massively multiplayer? Yo, is this actually everything Anthem should have been? What is this?
Humanity rallies against an overwhelming invader, waging a war for survival. Using powerful suits, humanity suddenly stands a chance against a mighty foe. Gear up. Battle to win. Earn great rewards and save humanity.
It looks clunky.
Forge alliances and fight for glory. Join the fight now.
Interesting. Huh. Okay. If you want to take a look at that one, there's that. I'm actually going to take off all these. What I will do is I'll link the actual like showcase VOD though. Okay, Dragon's Dogma 2. Jesus Christ. We'll find out about that one soon enough. Over what we haven't already experienced, you know, or found out from a lot of other people. Haunty. Interesting. Sandland, we knew that one was coming. We've seen that. Space Prison. Turn-based survival RPG. Interesting. That could be cool. Let's take a look at this real quick.
Welcome to Space Prison. Inmate 537.
Who knows, if we don't play Dragon's Dogma all day long, we might just rewatch the future game show stuff.
Aggressive behavior is prohibited. All personal items are prohibited. All inmate congregations are prohibited. Security will use force if necessary. And remember, death is not an excuse for a shorter sentence.
Cool. If you're interested, here you go. Blockbuster Inc. Chia. That one's been out for a while. Rumble Club. Looks like a Fall Guys kind of game. Simon the Sorcerer Origins. Project Mango. Outpost Infinity Siege. FPS spliced with tower defense and base building DNA. Interesting. Farewell North. I think we've seen that too. Final Stand Ragnarok. Wave-based Helm's Deep hack and slash. Yeah, this has been out since October of 2021. And it's got 10 reviews that are mixed. So check it out if you want. TerraTech Worlds. Seen that Robo Beat? Yeah. Know that one. The Operator. Still Wakes the Deep. Looks intriguing. Battle Crush. Battle Royale Brawler. 30 players do get out across a crumbling environment. Blueprints. There's so much Hordes of Hunger. Unreal Engine 5 Survivors like, where you fend off cosmic horrors in reactive environments. Coming soon to PC. Is this a... Yeah, they've got something here. Let's see what we got. An action survivors like.
We need to slay him.
Okay. There you go if you're interested. Linkido. Puzzler game. Worshippers of Cthulhu. Yes. Aren't we all? The Heirloom. There's so much, guys. Spine. Cinematic brawler with coordinated combat. Dismantling goons with help of a talking backbone. Of course it talks, dude. What was the name of that flipping game, dude? The talking bangle and everything. Why is whatever, dude. Indica, yep, talked about it. Tales of Iron 2, yep. Industria 2. Also. The world premiere reveal of Industria 2, the atmospheric, story-rich shooter sequel inspired by Valve's Half-Life series, coming soon to PC. This will be the last one we look at this morning, okay? Here, let's take a look at this. I know I didn't look at all of them. It's a lot to cover, and the news segment was already long this morning, so I apologize, but I will link that for everybody to take a look at. We might potentially just watch. It's like 90 minutes long, though. We'll see. We'll see. Where else, dude?
Laura, please answer. The area is not safe. I repeat.
Industria. 2. If you need more, here you go. All right. So they've got a lot of the games and stuff from it on Steam as well. But again, this article, along with, there's a link in here. Let me just go ahead and the YouTube channel here for the actual Future Game Show. This thing is actually 2 hours and 45 minutes long. Jesus. Okay. And if you want to watch it, okay. So there's this as well. All these links obviously will be in our video gaming news channel of the Discord. So if anybody needs to rehash any of this, there's a lot to cover there for the future game show and stuff, but we'll keep track of all this, okay, guys? And that's the news. My dudes, happy Friday, man. We'll see how the day goes. We're going to try Dragon's Dogma 2. We're going to get a taste of how it's going to perform for us on my PC. And again, I'll be running overlays to show everybody what my CPU usage is, what my GPU usage is, how many frames we're getting. I'll let everybody know what kind of settings we're running on, all that kind of stuff. And, we'll address this as we move forward. I don't know that, this is definitely something that I'm not really excited about. What Capcom's doing here. I'm actually very not excited, and I don't really feel like I want to be supporting them in this endeavor, which feels terrible, of a game that is the next iteration of a game that I loved so much in Dark Arisen, and so we'll just have to play it by ear here and see how we feel about this as we move forward this morning. And if we don't continue playing this moving forward, then we'll figure out something else to do. We always do. We always have a good time. And I don't know. We'll figure it out no matter what. So thanks for the awesome news segment. I appreciate it, guys. To everybody that provided me with, as always, insight to what we dove into this morning and what we always try and cover for our video gaming news segments. This morning, dude, was Ferret and Pinky and Soup. Big time, man. You guys, thank you very much. And for everybody that's always a part of our video gaming news segments every single day, thank you for being here and being a part of it. For anybody that's not familiar with what we do, and if you're watching this currently live or maybe as a VOD later on, we are live 6 days a week, every day but Wednesday. We always start off with video gaming news at 6 a.m. CST CDT. That is 7 a.m. Eastern or 4 a.m. Pacific. We begin with video gaming news, trying to stay current with what's happening in the industry, promote a healthier industry for ourselves as video gaming enthusiasts, video gaming lovers, and consumers of these products. Shine a light on some of the nastier companies not doing well by us as enthusiasts and consumers. And then we can move on and play games for the rest of the day, and we have a great time doing it. We've got an amazing community here full of awesome people, helping to cultivate a welcoming, understanding, inclusive community that's just about spreading good vibes, man. Trying to be void of negativity, toxicity, being civil and understanding about things. And if you can dig that, you're about spreading good vibes and just living your best life and enjoying video games, then I would prompt you to come hang out with us and be a part of what we do. We have a great time, lots of laughs, but we're always here forming great relationships and friendships together. And this is all, it's really about being here for one another when we need it, and supporting one another and building lasting friendships and everything. And it's a great thing. So we're always looking for more awesome people to be a part of what we do. So come be a part of it when we're live. Happy Friday, man. Yes, and come laugh at me, because that's the best part of all of this. The three-headedness. Come laugh at the three-head. So I guess I hope everybody's having a great start to their weekend. Stay healthy, stay safe, be kind. I'm going to run us an outro real quick. I'm not going anywhere. The stream is not going down. We're going to get prepared to try out Dragon's Dogma 2 and see how absolutely disgustingly nasty it is. Cool? So don't you go anywhere. I will be right back. You guys are awesome. I'll see you in a moment.